A couple called me last year after living in a semi in the Junction for 3 years. They bought it with a different agent. They loved the neighborhood, great restaurants, walkable, close to UP Express. 6 months in, their neighbors started a basement renovation. 4 months, they heard jackhammering through the shared wall starting at 8 a.m. Their toddler stopped napping. Their insurance company called because their neighbor's underpinning shifted the foundation and it cracked open in their basement wall. The repair costs? $8,000. And the couple came to me and said one sentence: "Get us out of this house." We listed it. We sold it. They moved into a detached home 10 minutes east. And on closing day, first thing they told me was, we should have never bought a semi-detached home in Toronto. Now, that couple is not unusual. I hear that sentence multiple times a year, and the data does back them up. Over the last 6 years, semi-detached homes in the GTA, they gained about $127,000 less equity than a detached home. Same timeline within the same market. But here's what I also know. That couple could have avoided most of those problems if they had bought smarter. The semi is not the enemy. Buying one without knowing the risk is. Here's everything you need to know before you buy a Toronto semi. The problems, the solutions, and why it might still be the right move for you. The biggest difference between a semi and detached home is the party wall. You share a structural wall with your neighbor, and that wall creates 3 problems you need to plan for. Noise. Sound travels through a party wall. Your neighbor's music, their dog at 6 a.m., their kid running up and down the stairs, you hear it. I've had clients tell me they sleep with a white noise machine on full blast because of their neighbor's TV. That's not a homeownership problem. That's an apartment problem in a house you paid over $1 million for. And it's not just living noise, construction noise. If your neighbor decides to renovate, you live with the hammer drills and the saws until they're finished. Could be 3 months, could be 6. You have no say in the timeline. Here's the fix: a soundproofing retrofit with decoupled drywall, and the installation runs about $8,000 to $15,000 per floor. It can work. Clients who have done it tell me the difference is night and day. And before you even buy, you can check. Visit the home on a Saturday afternoon when the neighbors are home. Stand in the bedroom for 5 minutes and listen. That one visit tells you more about the party wall than any inspection report. Let's talk about insurance. If your neighbor's kitchen catches fire, your side gets smoke and water damage. Your insurance covers your claim, but your premiums, they may go up the following year because of a fire you did not cause. Some carriers increase your premium 15 to 25% after a party wall claim, even when the damage originated next door. The move here is to make sure your own coverage is solid before you close. Talk to your broker about a standalone policy with party wall coverage. Ask about guaranteed replacement costs. It does not prevent the fire, but it prevents a financial surprise. And check whether the seller can tell you anything about the neighbor's insurance situation. Most likely, you're not going to get it, but it's worth asking. Let's talk about structural risks. When one side does a renovation, the other side feels it. Underpinning, basement lowering, even removing a load-bearing wall on their side can shift the party wall. That couple I told you about at the top, a crack appeared in their basement wall 6 weeks after the neighbors started digging. There's no warning, no permission asked. Before you buy, check the City of Toronto building permit records for the other side of the semi. It's free and it's online. If the neighbor has active permits or recently completed major work, you know to inspect the party wall carefully. Your home inspector should be checking the party's wall anyways. Sometimes they can't though because of the drywall. But tell them specifically, I want you to look at every inch of the shared wall. That one instruction could save you thousands of dollars. Now here's the part that gets people nervous. Because the shared wall is manageable if you plan for it, but the investment math is hard to argue. I pulled 10 years of TRREB data on every property type in the GTA. Talking about detached, semi, townhouses, condos. In 2019, the average semi in GTA sold for $814,000. The average detached sold for $1,016,000. That's about a $200,000 gap. Fast forward to 2025. The average semi is now $1,050,000. The average detached is $1.37 million. The gap grew to $329,000. That means the gap between a semi and detached widened by $127,000 in 6 years. If you bought a semi in 2019, you gained about $236,000 in equity. That's a real number. That's meaningful wealth. But if you had bought a detached in 2019, you would have gained $363,000. That's $127,000 more equity on the same timeline. But here's the full picture. Townhouses appreciate 35% over the same period. Detached homes, 35%. Semis, 29%. Condos, 13%. The semi is the lowest performing ground-oriented property type in the GTA over the last 6 years. Lower than detached, lower than townhouses, and townhouses cost less. The average townhouse is in 2025, $965,000. The average semi, $1,051,000. You're paying $86,000 more for a semi, getting 6 percentage point less appreciation. Now, before you panic, let me put that in context. A semi still gained $236,000 in 6 years. That's almost 30% growth. That beats inflation. That beats most stock portfolios over the same period. If you're coming from a condo where the average unit appreciated only 13% over 6 years, a semi is a major upgrade in wealth building. The question is not whether a semi is a bad investment. It's not. The question is whether you are leaving money on the table compared to other options at the similar price. If this is changing how you think about your next purchase, subscribe. I put out Toronto data breakdowns every single week, and I'm just shy of 1,700 subs. If you help me get there, I can keep on making videos just like this. Beyond the wall, families have a few costs that detached homes do not, but every single one of them is something you can check before you buy. Potentially shared drains. In many older semis, both homes share a single lateral drain running to the city sewer. When tree roots clog that line, both sides are affected. The repair, a dig and replace, runs about $5,000 to $15,000. and requires cooperation from your neighbor. The fix is dead simple. Before you buy, get a camera inspection of the drain line. It costs about $300 to $500. The camera shows your root intrusion, cracks, billing, everything. If the drain is shared and compromised, you negotiate the repair into the purchase price. If the drain is already separated, one less thing to worry about. This is the single best $300 you'll spend on any semi-purchase. Priority wall maintenance. The shared wall is jointly owned. If it needs structural repair, both sides must agree on the scope and the cost. One side wants to patch, the other side wants to rebuild. Nobody moves. Both homes sit with a known defect. Know what you're responsible for before you close. Your real estate lawyer should review the title and identify any party wall agreements or mutual easements. Most Toronto semis do not have a formal party wall agreement, but if one exists, it tells you exactly who pays for what. If one does not exist, at minimum, you understand that shared wall repairs require negotiations. No surprises. Let's talk about mutual driveways. Many Toronto semis share a driveway. You own your own half. Your neighbor owns theirs. If they park over the line, block your car in, or refuse to clear snow from their side, there's no fast fix, unfortunately. The city does not enforce mutual driveway disputes. If there is a survey, check it before you buy. Every property has one. It shows the exact property line down the middle of the driveway, and walk the driveway during your showing. Is your neighbor's car already over the line? Are there garbage bins on your side? Those patterns tell you everything about how the driveway actually works. Small details, big quality of life. I have spent the last 10 minutes showing you the rest. Here's the other side. A semi-detached home is $329,000 less than a detached home on average. For a lot of families, that's not a small detail. That's the difference between buying a neighborhood you want and buying 45 minutes away. And neighborhood matters. At just over $1 million, a semi gets you into Junction, Roncesvalles, Leslieville, Bloor West. These are some of the best family neighborhoods in the city. At about 1.4 mil for a detached, you're either stretching your budget thin or moving further out. For many of my clients, the trade-off is worth it. You own the land, you have a yard, your kids can play outside without booking an elevator. You can renovate your kitchen without submitting a request to the condo board. You have a front porch, you have a basement you can finish. These are things a condo will never give you. They matter every single day. And in many West End neighborhoods, semis are the neighborhood. 70 to 80% of the homes on some streets are semis. When you sell, you're competing against other semis, not against detached homes down the block. The buyer pool adjusts to the housing stock. If the entire street is semis, families shopping that street expect a semi. Here's some advice. If you're a condo owner looking at your first house, do not skip the semi just because of the shared wall, but do not buy one blindly either. Camera inspect the drain line before you make an offer. $300 to $500. Check building permits on the neighbor side, free and online. Visit on a Saturday and listen through the party wall. Ask your lawyer about any party wall agreements on title. Very rare, but some do. And budget about $8,000 to $15,000 for soundproofing if the wall is thin. But here's the thing, if you can comfortably reach a detached home, the TRREB data says do it. $127,000 more equity over 6 years, it's money. But if a semi is what gets your family into a great neighborhood with a yard and a front door of your own, it's still a strong move. You have to buy smart, know the risks, manage them. The semi is not a bad home. It's a home that demands better due diligence than most buyers give it.